Hello, welcome to the ETE podcast, or exclusive talk episodes for short. Thank you for tuning in. As usual, we have Juan and William.
Hello, guys. I'm William.
Hello, I'm Juan.
And today we have a special guest speaker. It's Ammisha. She's going to be talking about her graduate school program and her experience with it. So, Ammisha, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. My name is Ammisha Pokubama. I'm an alum at Cal State Dominguez Hills, and I'm currently a second-year graduate student at Cal State Long Beach, majoring in healthcare administration. And what I hope to do with my degree is to be able to serve adolescents at a healthcare organization.
All right. Thank you, Ammisha, for that introduction. We're going to be asking her some questions that you may have if you're considering attending graduate school. This is going to be really important, especially if you're an undergrad, if you're a senior, or if your specific major requires you to pursue a graduate degree. So we're going to be asking her some questions. Juan, do you want to start off with asking Ammisha the first question?
Yeah, of course. I'll start off. So, Ammisha, what made you attend graduate school after undergrad?
So really brutal, really honest answer. My dad was all like, you're just gonna keep on going. So that's one part. And the second part that was for more an internal type of goal is the fact that I do want to hold executive positions at places that I want to work at, as well as like with my internship that I'm actually doing right now. Gave me the courage to actually just do my own type of business. And so with that, taking those executive positions, a requirement is to have a master's degree. And I had to kind of weigh my options in the sense of how would it be if I took a year off or took a couple of years off and just went straight into the workforce and then going back to school. Would I be able to handle it? Would it be something that I would be able to do? Because those types of transitions, like when you're going to something new in life, really can be overwhelming, especially different circumstances, external forces, right? Going into like your plans that you have. And then I also thought about, okay, how would I feel going right after undergrad? And I felt for me, I just would like to kind of get it all out and kind of weighing my funding options. And so that's what made me decide to go into grad school. And then also hearing more about it when I was working as a peer mentor for Encounter to Excellence, because all the advisors, they have their masters. And so they like kind of encourage that and talk about that. So that's in a nutshell why I wanted to attend graduate school.
That sounded perfect, Ammisha. And then I have one question for you. So who or what office assisted you with this process? And how did you prepare for that step?
So I would have to say the first office would be Encounter to Excellence, because again, the advisors who work there really advocated for grad school, and I really got more information about like where to kind of start in having discussions with the advisors at ETE. And then slowly I started getting more assistance with like affinity centers that I was a part of. So for instance, the Dream Center, I was really involved in, and especially my junior and senior year. And they had a program for graduating seniors. It was like Toros and Beyond, which helped you with writing your resume, interviewing, and things like that, which I needed right when I was applying to graduate school. So that helped me get connected with the Career Center, which helped also with like writing a CV, which is a curriculum vitae, which is like a more academic type version of a resume. When you apply to grad schools. So some grad schools ask for that. So it was helpful to kind of know where to put certain types of sections on the CV compared to a resume. And also just like writing cover letters, because, it assisted me with like knowing some terminologies and language to write my personal statement or statement of purpose. You'll hear these two different terms, and more so personal statement is more so like geared towards like internally, like who are you, like what are you aspire, and then statement of purpose is more geared towards like, okay, like why are you coming to the program, what exactly you're going to get out of the program. So it's more like program based, but you still talk about yourself, but it's more like your aspiration through the program, whilst personal statement is more like, you know, tell me more about yourself, tell me like your backstory that got you here type of thing. So that helped. I know on Dominguez Hills, there is a resource center, but I really didn't use that center that much just because my major, uh, their classes, most of our students were like on always working. So those classes were actually at late at night. So I had all these other friends who had majors that they had classes 10 a.m., 1 a.m. My classes was 4 and 7. So those types of workshops that I did want to attend was just in the way of like my classes, but they did have really amazing workshops that I did want to attend, like again, resume writing, statement of purpose, and just applying for the GRE because I needed to take the GRE, which is basically a very harder version of the SAT, and more expensive. Actually, it's $200, and I was like, wow, for a 4-hour test. Not a fan. Not all schools require that either. So you can look into that and to like avoid taking the GRE. And I know because of COVID, some grad schools like waive that in total. So those are overall the people that assisted me in getting ready for grad school.
That was really interesting to know, Ammisha. I feel like I didn't know a lot of these things, and I'm one of the people who are considering graduate school. So it sounds like a lengthy process, but I'm glad you had support systems, all along the way. So my next question to you would be like, what was challenging about applying to graduate school?
Two things for me that was challenging about applying to grad school is the notion, I think when you're hearing about grad school, at least for me, is that you have to like go into the same topic that you majored in when you're undergrad, but that's incorrect. You can literally go to a different lane if you decide like, oh, maybe you took a class, right, in undergrad that was more interesting and you want to explore that avenue further and to like, be a part of your toolbox for marketing yourself to organizations, as well as just, if you're doing your own business, marketing yourself to employees to attract them to come to you, right? And to just expand your expertise. So I wish that I knew more about that and really explore more different options because I'm just someone who likes a lot of different things. So I know that through my experience so far in grad school, I had a little like crisis of like, oh my goodness, I majored in this thing. I love it, but I actually want to do something else. So later on, I'm going to probably get another master's, specifically in counseling or a teaching credential. So we're looking at that later on. And also understanding that there's different programs out there that you can do dual type of programs, like joint programs, whether you do master's and then PhD or 2 masters at the same time. So looking into that. Another challenge was letter of recs because you're putting, your hope that they will write your letter of rec for you on time. So I definitely encourage, there's like those 2-week marks. People say 2 weeks. I went a whole month, a month and a half ahead of time and asked my letter of recs so that I can have it ready to go. I think what's challenging, especially if you don't talk too much to your faculty, when a grad school program requires you to get a letter of rec from a faculty, it could be hard. And I only had about 3 that I was really, really close with. So I wish I had maybe a larger pool of faculty members to like get a letter of rec from. But one unfortunate story is that I applied to one school and I asked this professor ahead of time. And ahead of time, okay, 2 months in advance. I gave them all the materials. Most of the time, some letter recs, they'll ask for your personal statement and your resume. So I already had all those materials like ready to go. So you have your first draft of your personal statement or statement of purpose, whichever one the program asks for, so that you can give it to your letter rec. And I wanted them to see, like, I'm serious. I just need you to do this for me, help a girl out. So I gave them the materials, and I followed up like 2 weeks passed, and also give false dates. Don't give them the date the actual application is due. Like, give it like 2 weeks before the actual application. Don't even mention like, oh, I would like it by this, but the real due, no. Just say the due date is that 2 week mark that you have, just in case something goes wrong. So I even did that. I didn't hear anything. I was like, okay, after like 3 weeks, I was like, I mean, still a month left. So then after the 1 month hit, then I went back and I was like following up, like, hey, I just wanted to see your process. Are you still able to do it? Because, faculty are still busy. He was like, yeah, I got you. It's okay. Like, I'll get. And the thing is, I had to write the personal statement, like not personal, letter of rec. So some letter of recommendations, they will just say, oh, write it. Then I will add my thing and just have like their official signature and their letterhead. So I wrote it. I gave it to him. Like, I wrote the thing for you. I just needed to approve it. And it was just taking the longest time. So then I started to like get like other letter recs just in case. So I did have backups, but I really needed his because I wanted to get that faculty component, and I already had 2 other faculty do it, and I already received their letter recs. So then I waited, and he's like, I'll get it into it. We're getting to now the actual deadline, and he still hadn't gotten to me. He's like, I'll do it tonight. Then I was like, all you have to is just submit it through your email. And he's like, I'll do it. So then I looked on my application account, and I saw that he did not email his letter rec. And I was like, I gave you everything. There's no reason to. And I just basically quickly like use the letter rec that he had. And I asked my dad to like look it over and write it up so that my dad could be my letter rec as a volunteer supervisor, because I did work under my dad. And I'm like, oh, great, like they're gonna see my last name and your last name. Our last name's not that common, so they're already gonna know. So just make sure you mention so they don't think I'm trying to pull like, something. Safe to say, I did not get into Stanford, but it's fine. It's actually fine, but that was challenging, is getting like your letter of recs to just help you out,
That's interesting. It's like a whole long process you have to go, and like it seems like you have to be aware of like everything, or else you're gonna be like skipping on some things. I know you gave us a few advice of like what things to like worry about, but what are some basic advice you'll give Toros that are at school right now? Like just basic things that they have questions about. Like what's some advice you could give them?
I would say to really probably hear this all the time, but it's true, is to get involved, do something, either if it's just going to an event. Like if you're not interested in necessarily in a club, just go to events, because that's what I did. And the reason being why I say to do that is like you just want to like gain as much experience from different like angles as possible, just for one, to make your statement of purpose like stand out from the rest, because there's people who are applying, but also so that you can really like contribute to the conversations when you get into grad school. That's really helpful. I'd say get prepared, and when I say that, find a way that you find comfortable in making sure all your like materials that you need for grad school is like in one centralized place, whether you use a notebook, whether you use an Excel. You want to keep track of like the schools you apply to. You want to keep track resumes. You want to keep track of your letter of recs, the deadlines, because they're all different. And when you're applying, you're already like, I mean, you're a student, you're already working, you already have other obligations that you have, and those are definitely real. So you just want to make sure that you, everything that you're applying to, that you're making those deadlines, because, you know, some of them are not that very lenient, you know, so you want to make sure that you have those squared away. Another tip that I would say is like interview people who go to grad school so that you can figure out what program works best for you. So some programs you need to do what is known a thesis. So it's like research. So it's research based. You pick a topic, and then again, depending on your program, how that works. Other programs, it's a comprehensive exam. So basically, it's a big final test. You thought finals were hard? Wait for comprehensive exams. That's everything you're learning in the program, right? I'm not trying to scare you off, but I'm not also going to be like, oh, it's fine. No, you know, you're going to put in the work and it's going to be fine, right? But know that it is challenging and it's not like a breeze. And then other programs are different. Like for my program, mine is a project-based type of thesis. And so I'm in healthcare admin. So my main comprehensive project is a business plan of a business that I want to create. So from the ground up and all that stuff, that's my thesis. So that will be my research component. So knowing what you want to do in terms of that, right? And then I would also say it went in my mind and then it flew, and I'm trying to think what it was. Oh, research. Since it is a like research based, overall, typically like you're doing some research. If you haven't, you know, exposed yourself to research, I know that each major has like a research methods type of class, but even going beyond further and trying to find other opportunities where you could, like, you know, do the research, see if that's something that interests you, what type of research you want to do, are the advice that I can think of at the moment. I feel like I left one out, but hopefully I can think of it.
What campus resources helped you with this process?
So one was obviously my major department helping me get all the major requirements that I needed to get done, because there was certain programs asked for certain types of courses that I needed to have in order to like apply for their programs. I used the Career Center again I didn't physically go to the Career Center, but I used the Career Center through the Dream Success Center that brought in the Career Center for my like resume. And then I used ETE because I would write my statement of purpose, my personal statement, and then I went to the advisors to look it over because they've already gone through the process. So I asked them, hey, can you read it? I also asked my peers that I worked with at ETE, because some of them they were also applying to grad school. So we were just kind of helping each other out. My dad, having him read it through. Those are the three main ones. And I also like, I feel kind of bad that it's the only three main ones, because there's other stuff on campus that you can like use, again, like the writing center. Definitely helpful to like look through and like give you some tips and pointers. But the three main ones is the Career Center, the Dream Center, and the Black Rose Research Center. Really helping me, again, looking over my statement of purpose and ETE.
That sounds perfect, Ammisha. And then I have one question, which would be, how would you compare life as a Dominguez Hill student to life as a student that is pursuing their master's?
My life as an undergrad at Dominguez Hills was of exploring. especially when I hit sophomore year, I really encourage people to like work on campus because I think you just get exposed to like different people and knowing exactly what you would like to do. And I wouldn't say knowing, but at least having some sort of clue where to start because I'm still lost. So that's like the same thing as I was an undergrad in the sense of like I just love a lot of different things. And as a master's student, I work on campus actually. I am a program assistant on a research program. And again, that's helped me know the different resources that I need as a grad student because I work on campus. So if it's possible, work on campus. The one different thing is I feel like if you choose a school that's not um, your undergrad school, right, and you go to a different school, even if it's like close by, you still feel a sense of like, like, oh, I'm away from home. Like I going to Long Beach, like Long Beach is great. I love Long Beach, but I feel like Dominguez Hills was my home. And I know that other master students feel that way because most of the people in my program, we didn't do our undergrad at Long Beach. We all came from different schools and we have like our undergrad school pride. So I'm still like, everyone's like, go beach. And I'm here like, go Toros all the time. And then people just like, why? And I'm like, and I'm wearing my shirts, my sweaters from Dominguez Hills. And it's like, how? You're on Long Beach, right? So I feel like I betray like Dominguez Hills. And so adjusting into the environment is different. Like they're both CSUs, but the size is different. Like Dominguez Hills, like I could see one person one day, and the minute I've seen you the first time, I will forever see you again, over and over. Sometime, like whether the LSU or have you in class, it will happen. But at Long Beach, I'll see the face one time, and I don't see them ever again. They've disappeared because there's just so many people. And I miss that because I can't even like, hey, no, they're all gone. I see them one time and they're gone. The only people that are the same as the people that I work with. And if only one time occurrence, I'm not even exaggerating, that I met someone that I saw one time. And that was it. So that's something that I miss. And I think also as a master's student, you're probably going to end up being working more. Some students, there are either especially if you go right after you're a traditional student, like basically that entered college right after high school and then you're just going straight to grad school as well. It's kind of different because other students in the program are non-traditional, so they took some time off and they came back, and so they're a bit older than me, and some have like 30 years experience, and I'm here at 24, well, 23, gonna go at 24. I'm not there yet. I don't even have 1 year of experience, and here you are with 30. So that felt very intimidating. And so I think when you're in grad school, it's more so you're just trying to get that education and getting that foot in, whilst undergrad felt like more like, I'm here gonna explore. I'm here to have like a little bit of fun. I'm here to, just jazz it up, be a social life and do my education. And then grad school is like, it's like more business, like I'm here in and out. And I think it's going to be a little different depending on your program, because for me, my program, it's not really a cohort style. And what that means is that a good chunk of programs out there, they come in as a cohort. So whoever is coming in, let's say 2021, all of you, we were all in the same program and it was cohort style, we're going to take the same classes. So we're going to see each other every single time. It won't change. We won't have different classes. But for me, it wasn't like that. We all have different classes and we move at different paces. So I didn't feel like that tight bond that cohort model type programs have, because they see each other, they have group chats with each other. Like I work with I work with someone who's in the counseling program, and they're like really, 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 really close. And I was like, wow. When my first semester, I was like, man, I feel so left out in my program. I feel like I don't fit in. I feel like I'm not nice, like likable, you know. And so I was like, can you just adopt me into your program? So I kind of hung out with their like cohort a little bit. So just that caveat as well.
I actually didn't really think about it like that. That it'll feel like you're betraying your other school, and it feels different. Like how you're seeing it, undergrad is more like exploring, and then graduate school is more like you're just gonna do whatever you have to do and just get ready, get out, and then work. But that's actually pretty interesting. I didn't really think about it that way. But Ammisha, we really appreciate you as our guest. Thank you for all the tips and advice. Hopefully, it's helpful for everybody that's watching our video. Pretty good information you gave out. Well, we do have to end our episode, and thank you guys all for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode coming up.